Good evening. I know we are a little late today, but I am so grateful. I should have had my Wilberforce background on because, yes, today we have another successful Wilberforce graduate, Mrs. Craddock. I don't know how to pronounce her first name correctly, so I'm not going to even try because I don't want to butcher it. She is here to tell us about her journey to success. As you notice in the title, it is Success 101. So I'm going to have Miss Craddock introduce herself and tell us about her journey to success.
Hi, my name is Gianina Craddock, Mrs. Gianina Craddock, and oh wow, I'm still journeying to success. I feel like it's a continuous journey. Started right at Reynoldsburg, Ohio, making some strides there, and then of course went to Wilberforce University, then Howard University, then Liberty University. I am an educator by day, mother, wife, um, also an entrepreneur. I have my own Mary Kay business, independent beauty consultant. So I do a lot and juggle quite a bit. Also aspiring writer and writing in that aspect as well. But I would say journey to success is continual. So I'm continuing it. Meeting successful marks. I think the biggest journey to success is just being joyful and happy in regards to what it is that you do. That's the real test. Some people get up and have to feel like they have to go to work or have to go to a job. I don't feel that way. I go because I choose to and I want to be somewhere. That's like focusing on a career. So that starts with, of course, obtaining the right education, and then doing what's really important to you and kind of just zoning in from there.
Awesome. Well, thank you for telling us like a brief. I know we've talked like yesterday. We reflected on some things we have alike. You told me yesterday something that I thought was very unique. You was like, I was born there. I was like, in San Antonio. But you was telling us that you were a military family.
Yes,
How is
the
how
military brat.
yes? How is that different? Like transitioning. Like, how did you get to Wilberforce?
Oh, interesting. So my father, who is actually he's deceased. He passed away July of last year, July 19th of last year. He was in the military, and my parents were, of course, like married, and I was a military brat. So we lived in Anchorage, Alaska, San Antonio, Texas, South
Wow.
Carolina. So we traveled around a lot. Well, finally he got stationed at OSU. He was a top recruiter in the United States Air Force. So he kind of like that's where we planted ourselves, or he planted us and our family, I should say, not me. And we ended up in Reynoldsburg, Ohio. I remember distinctly him explaining that in Columbus, Ohio, they were busing some of the same children from the same household to different schools, and he didn't want that. So he chose a suburb to make sure that all of his children would go to the same school. So that way, if him or his wife, my mom, would need to go to the school, they can go to one place. He didn't like the busing situation they had with Columbus City schools.
Mhm.
So planted and were pretty much raised in Reynoldsburg, Ohio, which is an east side suburb outside of Columbus, Ohio. And that's how I ended up at Wilberforce, graduating from Reynoldsburg. I had the choice of
Awesome.
Fisk or Wilberforce. That's where I had my scholarships. And I chose Wilberforce. It was close to home. And that's where I chose to go. Definitely don't regret it. My mom just dropped me off. She told me I had to choose one of the two. Chose Wilberforce. And that's how I got there. But being a military brat really has taught me, like, I'm not afraid to go anywhere. So like
That's
I'm not
good.
afraid to. A lot of people stay stagnant and want to stay in one place. If we were to say like, oh, let's go to Florida tomorrow, I'm like, let's go. So I'm like the mover and the shaker. I'm not afraid to move.
That is awesome. That is so awesome. So, being that you said you was a military brat and you went to Wilberforce, it was either Fisk or Wilberforce, correct?
Yes.
Okay. When you were at Wilberforce, like, and I probably had the same experience as you did. My mom and dad was like military or school. Why is it that you didn't choose the military if your dad was like that was his thing?
It was his thing, but it definitely wasn't mine. I
Understood.
enjoyed I was definitely like I call myself kind of like a daydreamer, and I still am. I'm just one of those free hearted open people like, oh, I think that looks great. Let's go over there. Very creative minded. A lot of people are either like left brained or right brained. I'm more creative minded. So that definitely wasn't even on my plate. Like it was, for me, it was more like get a job and get out on your own or go to school. That's what happened with me. Because military was not optional for me. I mean, I know some people could go into the military, but for me, it just wasn't even a thought. I did not want to go to college. I don't know why I didn't at that age. I just didn't. I was tired of school. You know, you go through all those years of school, you just kind of want to just take a break. My mom said no.
Totally get it. Totally get
Yeah.
it. Well, that is amazing. While at Wilberforce, did you participate in any organizations or did you do anything that our scholars that are watching they possibly would want to do when they get to school?
Also, my freshman year, I definitely joined organization Ladies of A Heart. I'm still an A Heart. That's like the only organization that I ever joined. And I experienced great sisterhood with it. It's amazing. So I always say, look for sisterhood organizations, even your first year. For me, that was enough. Never was interested in a sorority. I think it's amazing. They just had a whole bunch of founders, and I was like, oh, how beautiful, but just it's not my thing. I was more concentrating on just getting the education that I needed to get. So for Wilberforce, for me, looking back, what I remember most, of course, is that sisterhood bond from the Ladies of A Heart and a lot of different other bonds that I had formed from different people because it's just like family there. But more specifically, when I talk about HBCUs, I talk about the professors. I had the best professors in the whole entire world at Wilberforce. And that's what I zoned into, and that's what I loved, and that's what kept me going like back and excited every day. I remember distinctly like my freshman year, me and my best friend, my roommate Karen, who's still one of my best friends to this day, we went to a party. We were like kicking it. We were like, we ain't going to school the next day. And one of my brothers just came and knocked on my door, like, where are you? And that's when it clicked for me, like, oh, they're serious. Like they want you to learn here. They missed me. Not the students in the classroom, but the professors missed me. So I was like, oh, let me get here. I was sitting up in the front of class, getting the best grades I could get. So that's what I remember most about Wilberforce is zoning in. The way I teach now is the way that my father taught me and the way that I learned from the professors at Wilberforce. Wow. And I'm an award-winning teacher, huge program year. Yes. So I learned that from that university.
That is awesome. Congratulations on being an award-winning teacher. That speaks volumes. And then it also speaks volumes that you are utilizing the tools that you learned at Wilberforce and giving back, by, I know you're instilling it in your scholars daily. What grades do you teach?
Right now I teach 5th and 6th grade at a private school in Cleveland, Ohio. And before that I taught 1 year public school here in Cleveland. Then before that, Columbus. So I just recently got married and moved to Cleveland. Love the private school where I'm at, which is way different from public school. So I miss some aspects of public school, like even during these tumultuous times, like the parents of my students are very like pro-Trump era. They would deal with racial issues. So it's just kind of been like a lot different than what I've been exposed to and what I initially started. But it also in a unique way has been a nice break. But I don't know. Like I told you before we got started that I definitely want to go into the professor realm. So I think everybody kind of gets started teaching. They want to either be an administrator. And I'm like, no, teaching is, I call it like, that's my jam. That's it for me. I love teaching. And I'm really good at that. But the most I would want to do is like kind of be at that professor level and stop there. Definitely preferably at a private school, HBCU preferably, even if it is online or virtual.
Wow. Well, you have your goal set. Now, you also are an entrepreneur. I mean, I do my homework on the guest that comes on. So yes, I do read. Yes, I check out people. I'm like, oh, they need to come on. My kids might want to go into that field. So I definitely do my homework. And I was like, goodness, I have a unique skin. So I can't really benefit from the products, but I do like the lip gloss line. But I want you to tell us about.
I have it right
here. She's like, I don't play no games.
I'm something around me. Yes. So this past year, and And it started with the pandemic, to be honest. Like we hit the pandemic and my youngest child was starting kindergarten. And I was like, I don't want him to go to school. Like I at least want that to be my decision. And I still want to make money, but I don't want to be told like he has to go to school. I want to make that decision. And I'm
Got it.
entirely too talented to just be boxed into what I have to do for somebody else and somebody else's dream, even if it is a school. It's not
Exactly.
necessarily my school, right?
Right.
So I decided to look at some entrepreneurial opportunities, and Mary Kay landed in my lap, and I'm so excited. Did a little bit of research. It's number 3 in sales. Beauty needs, would you believe it? It's tobacco, and maybe not in that
Wow.
tobacco, alcohol. Number 3 is beauty. Everybody wants to be
Okay.
beautiful. Everyone wants to look beautiful. Everyone wants to know how to make their skin better. It's just number 3 in all of sales. So we decided, my husband and I, to go ahead and jump into it and let me test my entrepreneur skills.
Wow.
Let me tell you, it has been an amazing journey, not just financially, but just growth wise. I'm always about growth. I love to grow. I love to be challenged and try new things. There's a cap whenever you go to work. Like I have a salary that I make, and it's a lucrative
Correct.
salary. It's a great salary. I only work 3 hours a day, but make the same I made the year before, working 8 to 9 hours. Very good salary. I wouldn't even want them to pay me anymore. I'm like, that's good. This is good. I mean, if they wanted to, that's fine. But it's a good
Wow.
salary for what I do. Very lucrative. But there's a cap to it. I can't earn anymore. With an entrepreneur spirit, there is no cap. And that's been the biggest thing that I've learned. Now, it may not be consistent, and that's what people get scared of when they go into entrepreneurial. It's like, okay, I need to know how much I'm making, but while you're making your $10 an hour, or whatever your salary is, that they said that they would pay you, just know that they're not paying you that much when it comes to what they're bringing in. They're just
Fact.
not.
That's fact.
That's a fact. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to operate. Even like I'm looking at the principals and different people that one thing the pandemic has taught me too is that, like, teachers were needed. Like, you need me to teach. Do we need the principal right now? I'm just saying, like, what do they need actively right now?
I plead the fifth.
And the parents. And I was like, oh, wait a minute, but they're getting paid like double what I get paid. But you need me to teach these kids virtually however I need to teach. So what happened was, it was like an empowerment for me to know to always have multiple forms of income and try something that you're good at. It may not be, mine's Mary Kay. It may not be Mary Kay. Maybe I see people doing paparazzi or, whatever it is. Make sure that it's a need and that people are always going to want it. No matter what. That's great. Just check out that. And then I say jump on. I think that it's very important to test entrepreneurial skills. There's just no limit. I can make a couple thousand, and then if I don't work it, I might make 300, whatever. But it's unlimited. There's no cap. And that was that area where I was like, if I'm going to work over hours for teaching, or am I going to work over hours by Mary Kay? But probably Mary Kay, because there's no cap, right?
Right.
So that's something I just didn't know, that I just kind of learned. So I definitely promote entrepreneurial spirits now. So like if somebody has, my daughter goes to Spelman, she has her own lip gloss line. My other Todd Waverly has her own Mary Kay business. So it's just like, I really push entrepreneurial things now, because I think sometimes when I'm looking back at even the way I grew up, it was like, go to school, get a good job, retire, and that's it. And that's very limited. I do believe in education. So I say, yeah, but college isn't for everyone. But I do say get a good education. And that doesn't necessarily have to be go get a degree. But I also say be smart and have multiple forms of income. So it feels good to look in the bank account and not just wait for one paycheck, but to be paid or to go out here and make $500 or $600 in a day. That feels great, and not be dependent solely on one person's dream. And then even with what we just went through with this pandemic, what if that job you get let go? And that happened to a lot of people. That was some people's truth. So that is something I learned strongly. Like, I will never, ever, ever just work one job. Not anymore. Not anymore. Not just one. Let's say, and it's just reading and researching, but definitely I say test entrepreneurial skills, see what it is that you're good at. Even if it's something natural, and push that. It's just unlimited income.
Wow. And I see your post. I'm like, goodness, she is doing amazing with Mary Kay. I'm thinking you've been in it for like a year or two, and you just started.
I just started. It's been
Girl,
I think it's right around 7 months. About
wow.
7 months.
Because I looked, I think one day you was like a top seller, and then another day it was something else. I was like, oh my goodness, I need to.
Yes, I've been the top seller weekly in my unit a couple of times, which is a huge honor because my
Yeah.
unit is a go-getter unit. We're under Dr. Gloria Mayfield Banks, who is #1 in all of Mary Kay. And Mary Kay's, started up like Mary Kay's definitely like Christian business. A lot of women are Caucasian, so we're African American, so we hold our heads up high. We are very prestigious. I was like, I didn't join a sorority, but I feel like my Mary Kay is my sorority. you know, we have Monday evening success night, but I think the biggest motivator for me has been just like a bunch of women getting together and motivating each other. Like I can call on any of my sisters at any given day and moment and just get motivated out of this world. And it's always to make sure that I'm at my best. So my family can be at their best. So money doesn't buy happiness, but it sure gives you options. Like sometimes we want steak and shrimp. We don't want tuna.
Exactly. And I'm like, oh my goodness. I've heard of Mary Kay. I mean, I've heard of Avon and different things, but like I said, I have so many allergies. I can't really do much with it.
I'll make sure I send you a little gift that may it'll be a gift. So send me your address. I'm doing so well I can do gifts now.
What?
I can
It's
get a little gift that works. Let me know.
girl, I'm gonna drop it. I ain't gonna drop it in this chat, but I'm gonna send it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That'll be a whole nother podcast.
Right. Do you have like if you were to someone was interested in either joining your team or joining or just supporting you, do you have like an address for that, or what's the best way to go to getting products from you?
Absolutely. I have a website where they can contact directly. It's www.marykay.com, and then it's /G Craddock, Craddock. I also am on Facebook under Gianina Craddock. Follow there. That is like my #1, actually, just as lucrative as with Mary Kay as I am with teaching with my salary. So it's definitely something I'm doing like more or less like full time now, or just as much as I am with my teaching career. So that there I am growing my unit right now. So I'm definitely taking or interested in interviews. I always like to interview anyone that's going to be prospectively interested to see if
Mhm.
it's a good fit. So definitely they can reach out to me
Wow.
via Facebook, Messenger, my phone number. I don't mind calling. That's business for me. That's the great thing about having your own entrepreneur business. You have a lot of tax write-offs, right? So like my phone.
Mhm.
So that's 614
That's good.
619 4409, which is also on my website. Instagram, Craddock Mary Kay, Facebook, Craddock Mary Kay. But any of those sites, even just write on Messenger. I have a couple people I need to get back with today that just get right with me right on Messenger. And then from there, depending on what it is that your needs are, some people want to be a customer and just purchase. Some people would like to know more about the opportunity. You can definitely let me know. And then I move forward from
Wow.
there. We have great hostess gifts going on. Like I've been having so much fun this month because I try new things and I research it all the time. So all my hostesses are getting like free lip glosses just for having a spa
Wow.
day. It's all virtual. Nothing up front, nothing personal, but
Oh wow.
yeah, while people are getting on virtually right now for like work and stuff, it's just a nice
Mhm.
break to do a spa day. And
Exactly.
all your people that you bring get like little gifts. I send out little spa day gifts so they can try on everything as I'm talking about it. Um,
That's nice.
yeah, it's nice. It's nice when you get to be a bit lucrative. You can have different options like that to be able to
Yeah.
just, make sure that they get to try out the products. And Mary Kay's been around for a while. There's a reason why. It's amazing. So I say, no, I can at least, like definitely give it a try, especially we just have so many different products. So it just gives you like a plethora of different options, but definitely if you're into any kind of sales, or even I'm looking for beautiful women and men that are definitely unafraid, that have like high goals and that want to achieve them. I am looking for them, and also not afraid to be coachable and try something new. Because when I'm seeing somebody not be good, I'm like, oh, you don't want to try. You don't. Oh wait, hold on, it wasn't for because you gotta try it. And you got to be coachable, because I said there is, there's no blue book or like a book for like parenting, right? We just try it. We're like, oops, messed that up. Oops, sorry. Well, I try my best, but there is a blue book to being successful in Mary Kay. So, but you got to be open to follow it and try it.
Oh, okay. Well, you got a hello from Titus Haig. Actually,
Hi,
TJ.
Titus. I know Titus.
I was like, I don't know Titus. I know TJ now. But
Hi.
that is awesome. Like, I'm sitting here with my mouth open wide. Like, she is like a boss with this. 7 months and you in like that? Where
And
you
I'm not going anywhere. I started my entrepreneurial business the day that I had, and I'm a little tough with it. Some people were like, oh, I'm picky. I don't mind saying that. I want the best of the best. So if you're one who's hungry, you looking at your family, like, we deserve more, we want more, and you really want to go, message me. But yeah, come with that hunger, because I refuse to lose.
Because it's a business. I mean, and
it's a business. So you want to work it, but we say in America, it's not Harriet Tubman hard. You show your product, show your face, talk about it, and it's been so lucrative. The only thing I wish is that I would have started a long time ago, but I had my launch party and kept my launch party on the day that I found out my father was unresponsive, who is my father and I were like. So when I look at those, I don't deal well with like, excuse, oh, I was gonna do it, but I'm like, oh, I'll go sit down. Next, I'm real. Because I don't play those. When I say I do something, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. So those are the kind of people that I'm looking for. And if that sounds like you out there and you're like, my family deserves more, I want some options, I want multiple income, I need a tax write-off, any of those things, just jump in my inbox. I got you.
Wow. Well, that is girl, you didn't say the mouth. I'm like, let me see. Can I add this to my plate? Can I not?
I know. And it's not hard. It's not hard. I'm telling you, it's the easiest little. You got your own website. You just go. We'll talk. We can talk later about it. I'll keep going. Wow. That's a whole. I'll be talking Mary Kay for like a whole time. But my biggest plus with it is not just financial. It's the growth. A lot of times what we do is we stay stagnant. We stay with what we're comfortable with. It's like, this is what I know. This is where I'm good at. But it's good to get out of those elements. It's like, you have the year and the date when you get your tombstone or whatever it is. You have the year you were born and the year you die. And then there's that dash in between. It's like, what did you do? Who did you touch? What did you do? Do it. Like, try and get out of your comfort zone and try something you've never done before. Exactly. And that's called growth. So that's what I'm all about. I'm like, I want to grow. And so my biggest area with that has been, it's tested me and put me out of my comfort zone.
That is amazing.
I have to stay there. I have to push that comfort zone, because that's the difference in my opinion between somebody who's super duper successful and someone who's not. Comfort zone. The one person just wants to stay in the house, don't want to get out. What you have to do is push it. And you might be uncomfortable, but what if that uncomfortableness changed the whole entire outcome of your child's life? Yeah, let's work me getting uncomfortable. I'll get uncomfortable for them. Let me try something different. So
most businesses that grow, it is usually something uncomfortable that you deal with. Trust me.
Absolutely. You're like, I'm uncomfortable, but I'm gonna do it anyways and see what happens. And there you go.
Exactly. And you are definitely like killing it across the board. Like, you're a mom, a wife, business owner, and you also have a full-time job. That, it speaks.
I work part-time now. I get paid full-time, but I only work a couple hours a day.
Oh, virtual. My bad. Virtual.
It's okay. I teach for 3 hours a day.
Yes, definitely virtual. But you also, I know we didn't bring it up, and we got to talking about entrepreneurship. And I really, really, you was telling me that you was a student parent, and I have some scholars that are watching, and I also have some scholars that I interact with that feel like they can't go to school because they have children, or they feel like that opportunity is not available. And I was like, I need her to share her story, because what she told me last night
Yeah,
about being a parent and in school, that's, that's a blessing to be able to overcome that. So I just,
absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm glad that you brought that up because I also have students that I have encouraged with my story that have become more like children to me over the years of me teaching. I started teaching in Washington, D.C. And for a while, um, like now they're those students of mine are now adults and grown with families of their own. So that story is a very unique story. The first thing that I will say at first, I want to give honor to God because through God, all things are possible. So I'm not even going to even start my story without first acknowledging the power that comes from God if you allow Him to come in and just take over. Because some of those years, I'm still like, wait, how did I do that? What was I thinking? I didn't have one child in undergraduate. When I was studying for my undergraduate degree, I had two. So I had my first child after my freshman year at Wilberforce, Amir, who is actually transgender male to female. So he now goes by Waverly and prefers to be referred to as a she. Then I had my daughter, Isis, and she was born in 2001. I graduated from college in 2002. I know it took some people for some years, not me, and I still had two children. In the midst of all of that, when you have children, they either make you stronger or they become an excuse. And I'm going to be quite frank with that. So you have to decide once you become a parent, um, especially a mother, what direction you're going to take at that moment. So I'm also thankful for a very strong mother who didn't give me any kind of excuses. My children are right with me on Wilberforce's campus. Not to dismiss those who had children that weren't, but every day I came home and I saw my children. Was right in married student housing, which if I ever become rich, my first goal is to like redevelop those. That was so amazing because without them, I wouldn't have been able to go to Wilberforce, or I would have had to have driven in or done something differently. But I was able to stay in an apartment right a walking distance to the school. Have my kids go to daycare right. Technically Wilberforce's campus, but on Central Side. But that's our campus. But another way daycare, I'll never forget it. And I was able to do that. So again, when you become a parent, your children are looking at you. And even at those early ages, I gave them something to look at. I'm not going to quit. And I remember people saying, like, are you going to quit? You won't stop? I was like, no. And my grandma Bowman, she rests in perfect peace. She's deceased now. But at my graduation, she was like, huh, you showed them. I was like, and I ain't done either. You can do whatever you put your mind to. And through Christ, all things are possible. So I say all that to say, and I'm very direct about that. When someone decides to have a baby, because that's a decision, right? You got all types of things that prevent that from happening now. But when you decide to become a mother and decide to have a child, give that child something to look up to and no excuses. Get your degree. There's no excuse not to. There's plenty of people that do it. I am one of many. Sometimes you will have sleepless nights. Would I go back and do it again in a heartbeat? Absolutely. I have sleepless nights now. Are my children worth it? Absolutely. Absolutely. So again, I see the crutch sometimes. If I have a child, I can't do it. Don't be that mother. Don't be that parent. Fathers too. You see the mother of your child trying to get further her education. Help out. Help out. What can you do? So I thank God for a strong support system that pushed me, that believed in me. But that's definitely God and decisions. You just make your decisions and you stand on them. But at the end of the day, know that your children are watching everything that you do, every little thing and every big thing.
okay, that was awesome. I'm like, I don't even know if I should put myself back on the camera after that. Like, let's collect the offering on
Oh, when it comes to motherhood and like that kind of stuff, it gets a little whoo for me.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
was
and
like, when I got the degree, I was like, how did I do that? I slept for 2 weeks after. I remember I was like, my mom was like, you gonna wake up? I was like, I'm sleeping. Because the day after I graduated from Wilberforce, I had a U-Haul at Marriott Student Housing, and I went all the way to Washington, D.C. to study at Howard. I
oh,
wasn't playing. There was no stop. I was like, nope, gotta accept that. And I did all that with, yes, absolutely, with 2 children as a single
Wow.
parent mom. But I did have support. Father was
That's
very
good.
active. Father's family very active. So I do say that support goes a long way.
Mm.
But those long sleepless nights, and my oldest has asthma, so I would be at Dayton Hospital. I remember coming in, taking a formal, like an final exam, and going back to the hospital. No
Oh,
excuse.
wow.
I got it done. Like, I didn't sit there and say, "Oh, my son's in the hospital. Wait, can you give me to me later?" Nope. My mom
Mm-mm.
came in. She stayed with them. I went to take my test. They didn't even know. I don't think. You know.
I didn't know. I mean, and I remember seeing you around campus. I mean, but I think I graduated in 2000, so I didn't.
Okay.
Once you get past a certain time, it's like, okay, I'm time to move on. Something new.
Absolutely. But I say concentrate on it. You can do anything you set your mind to, and don't let someone tell you. And watch those naysayers, and watch that in life, because there's gonna
That's
be some
good.
naysayers. Oh, I had some people that are very close to me. Like, I was the first one. I wasn't the first one to be dropped off of college, but I was the first one to graduate.
Say
From
that.
undergrad, the first one. And it's just, you got to watch your naysayers. Who's in your circle? Because there's so many people that just like, how you gonna do that? Don't be hating on me because you didn't do it. What do you decide to do? What do you want to do? The sky's the limit. We're in
Mm-hmm.
2021. We're about to see an African American HBCU grad get
Say
inaugurated
that.
as the vice president of the United States of America. You can't tell me God isn't able. Like, that is amazing. Gives me chills. I mean, I was like, when I'm surprised I don't have my pearls around. Look, that is amazing.
It is.
And the only difference between her and somebody else is somebody else told them no, and they believe somebody. There's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of naysayers. Don't let somebody speak negatively. Now when people talk to me even negative, you doing America? I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Move out of my way. Thank you. Have a good day. God bless you. Good day. I know how to do.
That's facts. That is straight facts. I get it.
I know how to do.
Straight facts. But you
Yes.
are a true success story. That's probably why I titled it Success 101. You really should look in the event. I probably post your bio again when I post it because it's such a successful story. Like, and I visited married students because I have friends that lived in those dorms. I'm like, they got all this responsibility and they're taking classes from like Dr. Situ, Dr. Calendar.
Oh, Lord.
I love
That is,
Dr. Moore, but she was a tough one too. You know, and
oh,
survive.
my hardest one was Dr. Mora. I did mass media communications. Dr. Mora, Dr. Oluetan. Oh my goodness. He told me in middle class, he was saying something about his wife, Nigerian. And I said, well, okay, you don't have to say all that. And I'm sitting there doing my test, doing my stuff. And he said, if you don't listen to your husband, you'll never be married. And I said, and it was funny because up until I got married, I said, I felt like he had messed me. I listen to this. I listen to my husband, but he knows I got real loud and independent. But but I was like, that was so mean.
Right. You speak this all my life.
I know. I was like,
Wow.
but the best, Professor Hinton, who's on Facebook now. I mean, I remember the day after I had my daughter, and it was a week. It was like right around spring break.
Mm-hmm.
But in an effort to make sure I could concentrate on school, I didn't tell too many people that I was pregnant with her. I was like, I don't feel like having y'all, the naysayers. Here come the naysayers.
Mm-hmm.
So I concentrated. It was my only 4.0 at Wilberforce. Oh my gosh. But I remember I stood up. He had asked me to break down something in broadcast journalism. I stood up on a chair and I wrote it down. And then I leaped off, and I was a tiny little thing. And then we went on spring break right around Christmas. And then I came back. Tiny little thing. Size 0 dress and some heels. He said, I heard a rumor. And he looked at me and said, yeah, it's a rumor. And I said, oh, my daughter. He's like, where did you carry that baby in your tummy? I carried her right here. But she was just, it was just so interesting. And to see her now at Spelman College.
Yes.
It's surreal. Oh,
I love it.
It's surreal. I get chills. That HBCU bond that we have, she's an original Bumblebees with Jamila Collins in Columbus.
Yes.
Spring program, and she was one of the original ones that she had reached out to, and to see her, I mean, I'm looking back. I remember recording, and these are all my HBCU friends, just
Yes, that bond.
intermingling, intertwining, and planting these seeds that they didn't even know they planted. But she spoke when they did their first. It was some type of, I don't know. I'm not going to call it selfish, but it was a, sort of like a motivational video for bumblebees. And she said, "I'm going to go to Spelman. I want to be a lawyer." And she was speaking all these
Wow.
things, and now they're in fruition. And to watch that graduate valedictorian, I mean, I've sat here and I'm like I remember going to the same school. I didn't graduate valedictorian, but to see my offspring do it, and to
Yes.
know she was born at Green Memorial Hospital around the
Oh wow.
corner,
Is it?
like Xenia. Oh, sure. I'm the only one born in Xenia. I'm excited. Years out there, but to have those roots and to see them be firmly planted
Yes.
and actively sprouting is surreal. It's surreal. And
Wow.
hasn't gotten a B yet. I'm like, are you gonna get a B? Not that I want her to get a B, but I'm like, you ain't got no B's. Hasn't had a B since junior high.
Wow.
She's just like,
That's watching you though. It goes back to what you said. You said if the kids watching you,
they
they
do.
watch your habits.
They do. And that's why you got to give them something to watch.
Mm-hmm.
They got to see it, because if they don't see it, they could use it as an excuse. And don't use your parents as an excuse either, because my life isn't my parents' life.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just kind of like you make it. If there's something your parents did, you didn't like what they did, then you don't do it. And something I tell my parents, I have adult children now. I didn't like when you then you don't do it with yours. You was mine. I was like, I apologize. I did what I knew how to do and what I chose to do. And it doesn't make it perfect, because there's no such thing as a perfect parent. I tell everybody that. No such thing as a perfect parent. But there
Wow.
is a such thing as a reflective parent and a parent who's trying. That's a good parent to me. Like, you reflective, you're trying, come on back. Let's try this
Right.
again. Let's go back to the table. So
Their mindset is important.
it is because
very important.
I used to look at certain parents like, I wish my mom was baking cakes like, Jenny's mom. And then I'd get older and I'm like, Jenny, you had the best mom. Jenny's like, my mom was horrible. I was like, your mom was, I thought your mom was the best one. She was in here baking. She got on my nerves. She never let me do anything. She was always in our business. I was like, everybody has, we all have different stories.
That's
but
true.
The best thing is being reflective, trying your best, taking the good from it, spitting out the bad. And if you really didn't like it, don't do it with yours. Get your eye.
Right. Like, look, you didn't agree with it. Yeah. But no. Yes. We are winding down. That's funny. Our hour went by so quick, but I really enjoyed this talk with you. I learned some things. You've even poured like soul seeds into me of things that I was thinking about. I'm like, wait a minute, this she's talking to me too.
I appreciate, and I'm so humbled that you asked me. I don't take that lightly. It was a good thing. I said, there's somebody seeing that good. And I think that's important. And I wish you so much success on everything that it is that you touch and everything that you're doing. Hoping and praying that it just festers and grows in a positive way. So I was extremely humbled. I'm always humbled. I'm always humbled, always mindful. So I appreciate that. And I wish you much success for reaching out. I think it's going to touch a lot of something that I haven't seen too many people do, especially in this forum.
Oh, wow. Thank you. That means a lot. That means a lot. This is definitely a push from everybody in my mentor circle that, like, look, this is what you have to do. This is what you need to do. It's much needed in today's time. Mm-hmm. Please don't forget to give us your daughter's address at school so we can support her as well.
I will definitely do that. She's in she decided not to go back this semester. She's gonna play it out, but she's definitely ready to get back. There's nothing like could you imagine freshman year? You get down there, you having a good time, and they just cut it short due to COVID. She was like, what? I'm the time of her life. Then there's all these restrictions, and now she's like, I'll just wait until we get back so I can have the fun I was having before. Can everybody put on their masks and we can go back?
Oh,
but I'll definitely keep you abreast of everything that she's doing. Continue to definitely keep her lifted in prayer.
Yes,
I'm glad everybody's well. I was like, we did as well when no COVID. I have a wife.
Well, before we go, I do want you to share your information because it's not coming through on the main chat, but it's coming through in my private. You have a couple of people that are definitely interested in Mary Kay. And then you also have some that are interested in, I guess, becoming a consultant. Is that the proper name?
Absolutely. Started with Mary Kay by coming in as an independent beauty consultant. And I will definitely, I'll go ahead and share my information. But first, my phone number, I don't mind you calling. That's definitely on my website. So my phone number is 614-619-4409. If you don't get me directly, definitely leave me a very detailed message letting me know that you're interested in being interviewed to be in my unit. That would be amazing. Would love to have you. The next one is my actual website, where you can kind of go there. You can sign up right there as well. Besides being interviewed, I'd love to talk to you though, to kind of see where you are. That's always my preference. But my actual website is www.marykay.com/G and then Craddock, Craddock. I reside in Ohio, Euclid to be specific. So even if you go to marykay.com and punch in Gianina Craddock, it's GIANINACRADDOCK. You can find me there. I'm also on social media, all the social media sites. I think the only one that I'm not familiar with is Twitter. I don't do Twitter. But I do have Instagram, Mary Kay _ Craddock 107. So I know it's Mary Kay Craddock 107. And then also on Facebook, Mary Kay with G Craddock. And my Facebook page is definitely devoted mostly to Mary Kay as well, besides just my amazing, beautiful family. And that's Gianina, GIANINA, Craddock, CRADDOCK. And you can message me there or add me as a friend. Love to make good friends. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for telling us all your information so that way our viewers can actually get in touch with you. Again, I do appreciate you giving time on this late Sunday.
I don't mind. I am honored and humbled. So I appreciate the invitation. I really do. I think what you're doing is amazing. So keep it up. And if you need me to talk anymore, or if anyone even wants to talk further, especially those mothers,
Yes.
definitely reach out to me. You got to give them something to look at. That's so important. And also be respectful to their fathers. I'm really big about that. May not get along, but they're watching everything.
Yeah. We might have to revisit that one.
Oh no, yeah, because that's a whole nother. I'm looking like don't act like you can't be cordial to somebody you didn't laid all the way. That sounds crazy.
Yeah, we have to revisit that one.
I'm like, what? I get confused by that, so don't call me with that because I'll be like, I had to tell one of my old students. I said, that doesn't even. You sound crazy. Give him the baby and go get your nails done.
Right.
Don't do that.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that one.
I know, right? Like,
definitely. But no, by all means, I do appreciate you for coming on. If you are watching the replay, please take heed to the information that Miss Craddock, I might be saying it wrong, Craddock told us. Thank you. I'm bad with names.
It's okay.
That she shared with us that was very touching. And I know that she was really transparent and vulnerable in some of the information that she stated today. And I totally appreciate her for coming on. And we are much later than we normally are. So I apologize. That's a me issue. We both had schedule conflicts, but I had to keep my word. I know you all look forward to seeing these on Sunday. So I have to continue to deliver. So thank you. And also, if you're in San Antonio, tomorrow we are having our skating party, Skating for Peace. All Youths Matter Skate. So if you haven't got your tickets, you might want to get them because tomorrow at the door, they are $20. So with that being said, we will see you next week. Thank you, Miss Craddock, again. I might be in touch for some Mary Kay. Oh, no, you told me to drop my info in the chat. I got you.
So reach out to me. I got them.